Hey guys, and welcome back to another flashlight review. Today we're going to be looking at the Wuben X2 in copper. This is the version that comes with 3 LH351D LEDs in there as well, high CRI LEDs. And I was first introduced to the X2 earlier this year when Wuben released it. I got one of the aluminium versions. It was the P9 version, so 3 P9 LEDs. And Wuben recently reached out to me to offer a sample of this copper version. So here it is. Part of me has always wanted one of these, but they seem to be out of stock fairly often. So I asked Wuben about that as well, and they said it's because the manufacturing process is more complex, can cause some delays. But anyway, I absolutely love this light. The combination of the unique design, copper construction, and the practicality is what sets it apart from many other flashlights. So let's have a look at what you get in the box. You get one of these. It's a red diffuser. So you can use this when you're outside camping, or if you're basically don't want to disrupt your night vision. And perhaps you can use this as well in situations where you don't want mosquitoes and things like that around you. It's less likely red light to attract insects. You've got a manual as well, really basic manual, comes in a few different languages. You've got this USB port, USB cable / lanyard, and when you look at it, it just looks like lanyard, but you can press these little buttons here, and look at that. You got a place there to plug into your computer or your power bank, and then this port here, the USB-C port, just for the light itself. Really nicely done, the way that it's just been able to be hidden like that. You can pop it back in there pretty easily like this. Just got to make sure that this little nib is up on the right direction. And this is the box that it comes in, so really nice. Over here you can see the specifications, so if you want to pause the video and have a look. Here's a comparison of the X2 copper with the normal X2 aluminium. I've got the Wuben X1 and I've also got the X0, and the X2 is around the same weight. The copper version is around the same weight as my aluminium X1. I think this is about 250 grams. So it's a little bit heavier in the pocket, but you do get this awesome looking light, and there's a few differences as well. If you have a look here behind the clip, they've changed it around a bit so that now they're using this, I guess it's more robust kind of design. It's also made of stainless steel, this clip, so a lot of people think that it's titanium, but it is actually stainless steel. Let's see, it's got a bit of flex with that clip. Okay, you don't get that with titanium. All right, so here's a little close-up of the X2 copper. And when I first took it out of the packaging, it came in a nice little vacuum sealed pack. It was a lot shinier than it is now, and that's just due to the copper oxidizing, forming an oxide layer on the exterior. You do see some parts like the inner bits there that are shinier, okay, like in there as well. But the places where you touch it, actually, there's a reaction, I think, between the oils in your skin and the copper. So over time, you'll develop a nice little patina. And I actually prefer that there's no kind of clear coat. You see some of these copper flashlights that have that, and yeah, I just like this antiqued look that you get from it after a few months of use. But probably about after 6 months, you'd get a more exaggerated version of what this looks like. And the X2 takes after this slab design, this rectangular sort of design that you're seeing here that's been more common over the past year or so. And it's surprisingly practical because you can fit 2 cylindrical cells side by side, yet you can keep the size down enough so that it fits nicely in your pocket. There's lots of these little cutouts throughout the flashlight, and some of them for the purposes of installing tritium vials. Machining is all high quality. Everything is just buffed and polished to perfection. And yeah, like I was saying before, I really like the clip. It's a bit more rigid than the one on my aluminium X2, but it's sturdier. Just looks cooler in my opinion. The X2 copper is operated by just this side switch here, one switch, and also doubles as a USB charging port when you flip it open. It's internally waterproofed as well, this charging port, okay, which they have to do because obviously that's not creating a watertight seal there. Here's a peek under the bezel, and you've got these three LH351D LEDs, high CRI and warm tint. Got these three overlapping orange peel reflectors there as well. And yeah, stainless steel bezel, glass lens. These LEDs are great if you need a light for color recognition. I'll go through a rundown of the UI now. So the light actually comes locked on arrival, and you have to basically unlock it with 4 quick presses. Okay, so it flashes to lock it. Okay, but when you press the button, you can see here this little blue LED just flashes. Okay, so you got to press it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you go. The light switches on. So once it's on, you basically click once, press once, and press again to turn off. And basically, once it's on, click and hold to cycle through the modes. So it's just low, medium, and high. Okay, low, medium, high. It remembers the last mode as well, so that's the high mode. Now, if I want to go to low from off, I can just press and hold that button. Okay, then it goes to low from off. Okay, you can double press at any state to have access to turbo. Okay, so it might be on and then double press. Okay, the only state that doesn't work in is lockout. Now, what you can do is you can also access a couple of special modes as strobe, 1, 2, 3, 3 press, and then 1, 2, 3 again, and then you have access to this SOS mode. I never use these 2 modes. And another cool thing you can do is that you can access this thing called programming mode. So say if I've got the light on and this is the lowest mode. Now if you click and click hold, so if I go click and then second click hold, you can see I can just ramp that light up and down. Okay, and click and it sort of flashes at the top. Okay, again, and this will oops, let me try again. There we go. There we go. And you can actually lower and increase that output. So if you want to program in a slightly brighter setting for each low, medium, and high, or even a dimmer setting for each low, medium, and high mode, you can do that and the light will remember that. Alrighty, so I ran some ceiling bounce tests with the X2 copper, and here you can see I've started out on the turbo mode, and straight away the light is on 100%. It actually increases slightly in output when I first turned it on, but basically between 95 to 100% of output all the way to the 1 minute mark. And you can see at 1 minute it just steps down fairly quickly to about 35%. I tried to reactivate turbo again at the 3 minute mark, and it does spike. It goes to that 100%, but only for about 30 seconds before it steps down again at 4 minutes. Just left the light on and it remained at 35% for the rest of the test past 10 minutes. A minute on the turbo mode is quite impressive, given that a lot of flashlights step down at that 30-second mark. I would have thought that perhaps with the improved heat dissipation of the copper, you'd have some additional runtime sustained output on turbo, but yeah, it performs pretty similar to the aluminium version of the X2. I ran a second ceiling bounce test on high mode, and you can see here, turn on the flashlight and it pretty much retains its output all the way past the 30-second mode. So that's a really good thing to see, that you've got, especially these lower, more realistic modes, because you're not going to be running that thing on turbo all the time, that you're still going to have sustained and reliable output. Also ran some tests on my Opal Lightmaster Pro, and these are just switch on figures, and you can see on turbo 152 meters of throw, which is quite impressive given the size of these reflectors in here, and it's an orange peel reflector as well. And you've also got a color rendering index of 95 to 96, which is absolutely excellent, and it's quite a warm beam as well, so CCT basically between 4,500 to 4,700. So it does tend towards a bit more neutral and yeah, a little bit more neutral as you ramp the flashlight up into the higher modes. The beam profile of the X2 is predominantly floody because of these 3 LH351D LEDs, or domed LEDs, plus the orange pill reflector, but it's surprising to see that you're still able to get 150 plus meters of throw out of this flashlight. Some considerations that you might want to be aware of. Now, the first one is that I noticed that there are some sharper edges on this light, and it's mainly in these cutout regions where you put tritium vials or, you know, just basically little grippy areas. And, you know, they're not sharp enough to cut you, but it's just a little bit annoying. It's noticeable. And I had a look at my aluminium version, and it doesn't have that issue. The second consideration, and I did mention this before, is that this light is pretty heavy for its size. You know, it's at least twice as heavy as the aluminium version. So do keep that in mind, as you might want to opt for the titanium version or the aluminium version instead if that's an issue. I really love copper lights, so, you know, I don't mind the extra weight. And just love the look of it. Third and final consideration is that the X2 has built-in batteries. So it's got 2 14500 cells in there. And this could be a pro for convenience as well, because you don't need to go find your own cells and basically take the cell out to charge it or anything like that. You basically just plug it into a USB port. But when it comes time to hot swapping, you know, that's not possible. You're not going to be able to carry any spare batteries with you. And when it comes time for replacement as well, it's not going to be straightforward in terms of just swapping out the 2 14500 cells, because they are joined together. Overall, the Wuben X2 Copper is one of the most unique general purpose flashlights that I own. It's really something special. I love the look and the feel of it. Looks pretty much like a science fiction prop out of Star Wars. It's a good one to show your friends or just keep around the house, even as a display piece as well. And I really like this unique rectangular design, all these interesting cutouts that catch the light, and the fact that it's made entirely out of copper as well makes it quite unique. But of course, it's also incredibly practical, given the high CRI LEDs and the extended run times due to this dual battery configuration in there. So if you're interested, I've left a link in the description where you can get one from the Wuben website. There's a special discount voucher that you can use. And if you like this video, do me a favor, click the like button. It just helps me get my video out to more people. If you have questions, comments, just let me know in the comments down below and I will get back to you. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the newest flashlights out there, make sure you subscribe. Wuben X2 Copper, and this is on the lowest mode. You can sort of just see up ahead, probably about 5 or so meters. Okay, good for up close and sort of if you're looking through your bag or something. Okay, second step. And one thing I noticed about this light source is just how much spill you get. It goes all the way into your peripherals because of that orange peel reflector. 3 LEDs in there. That beam is just, it almost looks like it's a TIR lens. So you get that wide spread of the TIR lens in terms of the beam profile, but you also get a lot of spill on the lower modes, which you don't get on TIR flashlights. They tend to produce little spill on the lower mode. You need to ramp them up, but even on this mode, quite impressive. I mean, even the second mode, you can get by with most tasks. Okay, this is high, and this mode is sustainable as well. So more than enough light really for most purposes. Like it's not really getting to the back of those trees. It might just be tinting them a little bit, but yeah, it gets into that field, reaches that field, that's about it. Okay, and that's turbo, far out. That's impressive. And I know I'm really obsessed with tactical flashlights, but something like this, with the amount of throw that it produces for such a little light, it's able to reach those trees out the back. But I can see pretty much all the way into my peripherals when I'm walking, and I'll show you what that looks like when I walk up ahead. I'll do a sort of pan the light in and out of the scene first, so you can just see how dark it is out here. Okay, around this time it does start to step down, around the 1 minute mark. Okay, so you will start to see it stepping down a little bit to the 800 lumens mark. Okay, but I'll go for a little walk so you can see what the beam profile looks like. Because of these high CRI LEDs as well, it looks pretty much like daylight. And I'm red-green colorblind, but the colors just look a little bit more. I can just differentiate the colors a lot better than I can with, say, light with low CRI, 60 CRI, something like these P9 LED flashlights, where everything to me just looks pretty much washed out. And I don't have a chance ever to try to figure out what color things are. Very pleasant sort of beam as well, nice and warm.